So in this sprint, we have made it easier to create assignment operators, both the move and copy assignment operators. So there are now new commands in the Add UML Special Operations context menu that you can use for creating these with the correct signature and dummy implementation immediately. We also made a change in the code generation so that now it gives names to the enumerations that are generated for protocol events. This makes it possible to reference these enums from other code you may have in case you need this. Then in last sprint demo, we demoed 2 new APIs for Java APIs for programmatically redefining states and operations. And now in this sprint, we have updated the HCL RTist SDK sample with 2 UI commands that you can look at to learn how to use these 2 APIs. We also did a change in how attribute initialization is implemented. So as you know, previously it was by default done using constructor initializers. Now we have changed so that the default is brace initialization, the C++ uniform initialization, for when you're using C++ 11. And there is also now a possibility in the Project Explorer to both see and edit using this syntax. Then we did several improvements related to abstract classes and abstract capsules and pure virtual operations. We improved the handling both in the model compiler and in the user interface to make it more consistent between abstract and the presence of pure virtual operations. We have had an experimental feature for doing BERT reporting for quite some time now, and we decided it was time to make it non-experimental. So on the info center, same page where it was before, you now find updated versions for 11.0 and 11.1, which you can install on top of HCL in case you want to use BERT reporting. Then we did a number of improvements related to the model debugger, in particular tracing. We improved the performance when starting a trace session because sometimes it could take quite some time with the dialog being up for a long time before the trace session would start. So that is now fixed. And we also addressed the problem that we found where it could happen that state activations events were missing for states that had both internal transitions and transitions leaving exit points. Then, as most of you know, before Christmas there were vulnerabilities in the open source component log4j detected. And this triggered us to release a number of updates for older release tracks. So you have got updated version of 11.1, 11.0 and 10.3. You can see the numbers here on the screen. And in the new release now 2020-04, we of course also include the new secure log4j version. And if you're interested in exactly what version of log4j that these fixes contain, you can see that on our info center. And then maybe the biggest thing we worked on in this sprint was the first experimental version of HCL 11.2 running on Eclipse 2021-06. And we are happy to say that now we have done that and are ready to release the first version shortly. There are some limitations that I will talk about. In particular, it's only the main installation component that is available. The rest will follow in the coming sprints. The reason why this uplift was taking more time than usual is that we have had to switch from Java 8 to Java 11 since Eclipse no longer supports Java 8. And this means you have to now use Java 11 for running 11.2. And this in turn triggered limitations in PDE build, which we used for building HCL. So now we have switched to the more modern build system based on Maven instead. But this was a quite big exercise that we actually still are working on. And there are some differences compared to how you installed previous versions, so you should read the installation instructions carefully. I will also highlight the differences here during the demo. This leaves us with only one experimental feature. Well, actually, it's the whole release 11.2 that should be considered experimental. So don't use it for production work, but you're encouraged to use it for example, testing so that your plugins work with this new Eclipse version. And here is a summary of the deliveries we will make now after this sprint. So there will be another version of 11.1, 2022-04 to be run on Eclipse 2020-06. And then, as I said, first version of 11.2 experimental to be used together with Eclipse 2021-06. And then the older versions you see here in the list, they are in maintenance mode, but we update them when there is something important like vulnerabilities that were found in Log4j. So we went back all the way to 10.3 and updated, but we didn't update 10.2 and older, simply because we think we don't have any users using those old versions. But if we are wrong on that, please let us know. And then here is just a brief summary of what features that are unique for HCL and that do not exist in other product offerings. It's the event routing visualization, the one-test embedded integration, the Node Plus component, and the unit testing of capsules feature.